Hi and welcome to E-ZTutoring. Today we're going to cover how to simplify rational expressions. And we're also going to cover the keep, change, flip method. Now before I get into the keep, change, flip method, I would like to do a simple multiplication problem here. So we have 2a squared over 5b squared c times 3bc squared over 8a squared. So what you want to do is you want to multiply the numerators together, and you also want to multiply the denominators together. And then you put that all into one fraction in the end. So when we multiply the numerators together, we get 2a squared times 3bc squared. So you want to just multiply your whatever they share in common first. So what they do share in common is the constants in front. So we can multiply the 2 and the 3 to get a 6. Then they have nothing else in common, so I'll just go ahead and label everything else. Now, we do the same thing to the bottom. We do the 5 times 8, which gives us 40. And they don't share any letters in common, so once again, I'll just label the rest. So we have that, but now we need to simplify this. 6 and 40, we can simplify those. They are both divisible by 2. So what we can do is we can actually factor out a 2 from each. And in the 6, if we take out a 2, we'd be left with 3. A squared bc squared. And on the bottom, if we take out a 2, we'd be left with 20. A squared b squared c. So now we can simply cross off those 2's. Now we are left with 3 over 20 and then all the rest of the variables. Now, looking over here, we have an a squared on the top and an a squared on the bottom, which means we can cross these out. No more a's. Now we have a b and a b squared. So the best way to imagine this, there's one b on the top, and b squared means there's two b's on the bottom. So what that means you can cross out one of them and be left with 1 on the bottom. Similar with the c's, there's a c squared on the top and a c on the bottom, which means there's 2 c's on the top and 1 c on the bottom, which means you can cross out just one of them and be left with 1 on top. So eventually we'll be left with 3c over 20b. So this would be your final answer. So let's go ahead and jump into the next problem here. So now suppose we have this problem. And as you can see, we have a fraction being divided by another fraction. Last problem was multiplication. That was easy, right? We just multiply the numerators together and the denominators together. So what do you do when you have division? You have to do keep, change, flip. And the way I like to remember this is it kind of reminds me of Kentucky Fried Chicken. So anyways, keep means you keep the first fraction. Change means you change the division symbol into multiplication. So let's go ahead and get rid of this and put one of these. And then flip means you take your last fraction and you flip it. So instead of this, we will have 2p plus 10 over 6p minus 3. So we went ahead and flipped it. So now we can go ahead and multiply these like a regular rational expressions, just like we did in the last problem. So we do 2p plus 10 times all that. That's going to get messy. And one more thing I'm going to do is I'm going to FOIL out p plus 1, distribute the 4, and multiply by this. This is going to be lots of algebra 1, don't want to bore you guys with this. I'm going to fast forward. So okay, so after doing all that boring math, we've ended up getting all the way up to this point. So from here, you can see that they share a lot of factors in common. I mean, every number here is even, so there is definitely something we can factor out of there. If you look closely at this, you will end up realizing that they are all multiples of 12. 24 is a multiple of 12, so is 36, 12, 48, 60, 132, and 24 again. So what we can do is we can factor out a 12 from the top and be left with 2p cubed plus 11p squared plus 4p minus 5. Factor out a 12 from the bottom and be left with 2p cubed plus 3p squared minus 1. Cancel out the 12s. Now we're left with this, and from here there is actually nothing else you can do. This is fully simplified. These do not factor into anything. So this will be our final answer, minus the 12s, of course. So I hope you guys do feel more comfortable with simplifying rational expressions, especially the keep, change, flip method. Keep, change, flip method makes things a lot simpler. So if you guys need some ACT or SAT help, be sure to visit www.e-ztutoring.com. Thank you guys and good luck.